Hello. I would like to acknowledge that I am speaking with you from the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe. This presentation was developed in an accessible format with alternative text for the graphics used. Currently, our health system is more disconnected and reactive than proactive and focused on collective action. Urgent or short deadline action requests are relatively common in the day-to-day work of many government departments, especially during emergency or newly emerging situations. Evidence and information can be siloed, hard to find, hard to understand, hard to verify, in the wrong format, and rapidly evolving, creating lots of uncertainty. People are inundated with information and evidence of various quality, often with pressure to make rapid decisions. Knowledge products that are not tailored to the needs of the audience can also result in far-reaching negative health impacts on people living in Canada and globally. Basically, we are living in a world of disjointed information and evidence overload. Although the existing sources of evidence, such as Google, PubMed, Cochrane, etc., do provide lots of evidence and information, many of these sources do not leverage the power of artificial intelligence to analyze it. The sources can also list various quality of evidence and information. Also, many of these sources do not generate living evidence nor integrate different types of evidence and information into a summary or format that facilitates decision-making. The great need for accessing, integrating quality evidence and information and summarizing it into an understandable format in alignment with decision-makers' needs is clearly articulated in key global reports, such as the Global Commission on Evidence to Address Societal Challenges, which calls for strengthening Canada's evidence infrastructure, and the World Health Organization's Evidence Policy Impact Report. Additionally, Canada's own Chief Public Health Officer has also articulated the need for collaboration, collective action, and a One Health approach to tackle Canada's key public health issues. One Health is a collaborative, intersectoral, and transdisciplinary approach to achieving optimal health outcomes that recognizes the interconnection between people, animals, plants, and their shared environment. There are significant impacts from this system issue, not just financial, but more importantly, lives lost. So our proposed solution is to enable an efficient and effective systems approach to accessing the right evidence and information at the right time, using the right format and for the right people to enhance and facilitate this decision-making. Leveraging artificial intelligence, Health Intelligent, which is a knowledge and action artificial intelligence platform, would be a trusted source that not only provides centralized, customizable, filtered, best available evidence and information, but also bridges and facilitates access, integrates diverse types of knowledge, synthesizes and communicates it to tailor to the needs of the user, facilitating collective action and enhancing evidence-informed decision-making.
Apologies for the interruption. Did you have a slide deck you wanted to share?
Yes, sure. Okay, so we want to highlight that this platform would leverage artificial intelligence. However, the artificial intelligence would facilitate decisions and not replace human decisions and judgment. We have given some consideration to risks and mitigation strategies, and we're happy to discuss if you have any questions. So how do we go from a systems complex issue to a tangible product? After some research, we decided to start small and implement a phased approach. We chose the Office of Research and Surveillance for Tobacco Control at Health Canada as our defined pilot scope. Next slide, please. Tobacco control is well researched, defined, with lots of publicly available content. Vaping is on the rise. It is a policy priority. It is led and primarily implemented by one organization, Health Canada, which serves as a good starting point. Next slide, please. In order to understand the specific needs, context, and work of tobacco control staff, we consulted with that office and recruited a staff member to join our team. Through the consultations, we learned more about the labor-intensive, time-consuming, and limited processes that tobacco control staff are currently faced with, and how Health Intelligence could provide key solutions. We also looked into the potential cost of approximately $400,000 per year and cost savings of developing Health Intelligence. For example, Health Intelligence could help reduce research time, labor costs, and enable faster retrieval times by approximately 30%. This is a conservative estimate considering the efficiency of automated retrieval and generation. Also, if labor costs account for 50% of the total budget, there could be a substantial savings. In addition, currently every dollar invested in tobacco prevention programs actually saves $22 in societal costs. With improved evidence-informed decision-making, this cost savings is likely to increase. Our user-centric and user experience design and functions focuses on the work of the research analysts, scientific evaluators, and scientists at Health Canada, providing scientific expertise to policy decision makers on tobacco control. Other audiences that may also benefit from some of the content in Health Intelligence are health policy and program professionals. During our consultations with science staff, we discussed, for example, their needs for quality assessed evidence, identification of knowledge gaps, and how specific features in the platform could be designed to address those needs. In order to best illustrate the customizable features in Health Intelligence, I will now pass it over to my team member, Luke, to share with you a brief demo of Health Intelligence.
Luke, you're on mute, so just need to unmute. Okay. That's it. No, you're on mute again. I think you clicked twice. That's it.
Excuse me about that. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to play a video here. Please just chime in if you can't hear it. We think seeing is believing, so I'd like to introduce you to our first working version of Health Intelligence and some of its functions.
We're unable to hear it clearly if we're supposed to hear some audio. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, thank you for telling me there. Let me try resharing here really quickly and confirm that you can actually hear the audio. Share sound. All right, you should be able to hear it now. Please let me know if there's still a technical issue.
Traditional methods of knowledge retrieval are time-consuming and prone to oversights and biases.
You can hear.
Leading to decisions that aren't fully.
Or technical issues, excuse me.
Traditional methods of knowledge retrieval are time-consuming and prone to oversights and
Just to
biases.
say, we've got 1 minute left.
Decisions that aren't fully grounded in available evidence. This often results in suboptimal outcomes that can affect policy quality and public trust. Imagine having the collective knowledge of the Canadian government at your fingertips, allowing policymakers to make informed, evidence-based decisions that drive positive change for Canadians. You can see here there are 3 predefined bodies of knowledge as part of our pilot and verification stage. In this case, we choose to use some academic studies and government bodies of knowledge. After hitting search on a natural language question, the model pulls in relevant sources of data like a search engine. It then embeds these documents in its response, generating a summary and referencing where it pulled data from. With this summary, the user can immediately find an answer to their question in natural language. Health Intelligence can generate a summary of available knowledge on a subject.
Just to
All
say, your time is
user
up, so if you wanted to wrap up, it would be now.
Direct consultation with users will allow us to create a tool that will enable policy decisions with the best available evidence.
All right, thank you. That was the demo. So I'll hand it over to Manel for some last points. Manel, would you like to finish?
Okay. Yes, so in summary, the future can be very bright and bring many good things, such as a high return on investment with the benefits for staff substantially greater than the cost, leveraging the power of AI and growing and expanding over time with potential applications across the government and beyond. This tool can be used by public servants and is well aligned with public service modernization, the ethical use of data, and keeping up with advances in technology. Health Intelligence can contribute to addressing current and future health concerns impacting the lives of people in Canada and potentially globally. So thank you very much for taking the time to listen to our presentation, and we look forward to any questions you have.
Manel, thank you so much. I'm going to come over to the judges. We can stop sharing the screen now. Thanks. And any members of the team who want to put their cameras on, please feel free to do so. Let me see. So, Gabrielle, did you have your hand up there?
I did, sure. I just wanted to, so thank you very much. Thanks for walking us through your proposal and presentation. I appreciate your time. I just wanted to understand your information sources. And so you, with the potential that you've highlighted in bringing together this information and the use of technologies to aggregate this information. In your submission, you had listed quite a few. You talked about the three governing bodies in terms of CIHR and SSHRC and NSERC and such, and then CIHI and so on. I'm just wondering if you had any chances to sort of further understand where those data sources would reside from and how you could pull that, and if you've had any sort of success in sort of ensuring that data aggregation to be able to pull this together. Thanks.
Who would like to answer that one?
I can start.
Yep.
Okay, so thank you very much for the question. And in terms of sources, we're starting off with using journal articles that Health Canada already subscribes to. And also we have a list of sources that we're compiling as we identify them. So the interface, and Luke can speak more to this, but it has the ability to extract content from websites. So we want to leverage Federal Library of Science, open data, Government of Canada publications, public health infobase, etc. So Luke, I'm not sure if you want to add to that.
Yeah, so part of the idea is when we do a consultation with a department, we can say what types of data are you constantly going through. As long as it's in textual format, it can be extracted and then embedded into an AI's response. And the other nice part about that is when it provides a certain kind of packet of information, it can cite back to where it pulled that information from. So then with the right user interface, you could go back and actually verify that all that information is correct. And you saw in the demo that there was a selection of data sources at the beginning. So when you do your natural language question, you can actually decide which of the data sources that have been put into the model you would like to include when the AI responds to you.
Thanks, Luke. I'm going to, unless anybody else from the team wants to join in, I'm going to come back to the judges for the next question. Dominic, you were last time, so do you want to come in now on this one?
Yes, thank you. Question for me is, if you could clarify the scope of what is at play here in your idea. Is the platform already established and where this is really an AI initiative, or is this the entire thing? We're starting from nothing, and that demo you provided, like the whole IT infrastructure, the application is also in scope.
Luke, did you want to take, or Manal or anybody else? But I saw Luke nodding.
Okay, sure. So in terms of the scope, for the purposes of the pilot for this tool, we engaged with the Office of Research and Surveillance for Tobacco Control to understand their needs and then structure the functions and the platform to serve those needs. But we're implementing a phased approach, and we want to start with one topic area in one organization, and then gradually build upon that. So we're focused for now on this pilot phase, within tobacco control as the immediate scope. However, we want this application to be applied across different federal departments, and include content over time from different sources, the federal organizations, PTs, NGOs, academia, etc. So, right now the scope is internal to tobacco control. However, over time, the scope can expand and grow so that it's focused on different target audiences, such as policy professionals or community-based program professionals implementing grants and contribution programs, that kind of. So, we're thinking about different users over time, different organizations, different topic areas, so that it can grow and expand. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, and if anyone else wants to add anything.
Manal, I may just add that we're not necessarily locked into the platform. Luke's done a great job of building the pilot on REG. We're looking at also the Federal Science Data Hub CAN chat functionality. We are quite aware of consensus, and our intent is the main point of differentiation is that these are going to be curated sources, and there's going to be some additional analysis of the relevance, the validity, the applicability of the data before being posted on such a platform. But we're not locked into a particular tool, and things are moving so fast that what is available today may not be available tomorrow. But I don't know, Luke, if you have anything else to add.
Really quick for the IT portion of it, we'd host it initially for the pilot program on the science program. It's something SS Shared Services Canada allows us to host. They give space for piloting, and then because it's in Azure, it can be ported over to different departments' tenants once it's developed and accurate, and then different data sources can be partitioned based on those tenants.
Thanks, Luke. I'm coming back to the judges now. Julie, Elise, or Wesley, who would like to go next?
I can go, Elise here. My question is to do with the use of AI and bias, right? So I think you mentioned it very quickly, but what would be the mechanism that you would put in place, or the guardrails that you would put in place to ensure that that you address question relative to bias in the information that is being provided? And my other question is also about one of the things I didn't quite understand is you've talked about human in there, but I'm not clear on what this is replacing or improving, and what's the role of the people in other than the user, right? Who would that open new groups of user? Would it, like, is it eventually public? Like those kinds of consideration.
So maybe, Manal, I'll take the first question, and if you can take the second part. So on the question of bias, we've thought about this carefully. There are a number of pre-existing tools built into things like Prisma, which is an assessment checklist for systematic reviews. Also Joanna Briggs. We may also develop a customized tool to assess the different criteria for reducing bias and incorporate those into the tool. That may mean setting a threshold where depending on the scores on the various tools available for assessing bias, that we may exclude a data source. And then also, we also have thought carefully about incorporating a diversity of data sources, including traditional knowledge, ensuring that evidence sources from different languages and at least English and French will be incorporated into that. So we haven't landed on the exact mechanism that we're going to use to ensure that we are minimizing all the different types of biases that are going into the response. But we are very much sensitized to the issue and are exploring options.
Thanks, Rebecca. I'm conscious we've got a few moments left. Julie or Wesley, would you like to ask a question? Do you have a question?
I had a similar question to Elise, so I'll go to my second question then. How do you find as a potential challenge keeping an inventory of all data sources on a topic? It's hard already. So do you have tools or mitigation strategies to help you address that part that, as you said, knowledge advances so quickly, but have reliable sources in a specific area of expertise?
Who would like to take that one?
I can jump in if
Thanks,
the team
Daniel.
would like. So, as Rebecca alluded to, part of the development of the platform will be to also have quality control checks or information that's presented to the user. Now, this can be presented in different formats depending on the user that's actually generating the question. So a researcher that is getting right into firsthand academic articles, et cetera, will be able to have key parameters put up front and center to help to determine the I wouldn't say the validity, but the import of particular studies. So what were the population levels? Was a power analysis conducted? What is the effect size? Considerations like this, that if you have experience in research, they would be key pieces of information up front and center to help to be able to inform, is new research using adequate populations, or is it not addressing the issue competently enough or comprehensively enough? I would also say, just jumping back to the previous question, because there's a bit of a linkage here, that is essentially where the human element comes in. The AI can gather in a much faster way and produce a much more tailored report for you for key pieces of information, but it would still require a human being to make that assessment about whether or not this research article offers something in addition to past research. Is it furthering the question? Is the methodology that's employed sound? Now, that's at the research side, but scalability, also harkening back to a previous question for this particular platform, is as big as you can essentially dream. So we want to be able to use this for different users, which would require different outputs, and a lot can be tailored and adapted on that front. As it's going through in the AI development alongside the rest of the Government of Canada departments, such as the Public Health Agency of Canada, we would try to keep ourselves apprised and informed of the anti-racism and science strategies that can go on for Health Canada, Public Health Agency, other agencies, and the determinations they make to avoid bias, and incorporate those into our platform and our system as well, in an iterative and ongoing basis for continual development.
Thanks, Daniel. I'm just conscious of the time. We are almost out of time, but Wesley, I want to give you a chance if you did have a final question.
Yeah, I do. Thank you. So if I understand this correctly, your AI you're talking about is a large language model using Gen AI. And therefore, I'm pretty sure you're not training your own LLM. You're using something that's either open source or you're using something that's already out there commercially, probably Azure OpenAI. My question is,
what is the advantage of using that in your platform than simply using ChatGPT?
Great question. Who would like to take that? We've only got about 30 seconds left, I think. Don, you've got your hand up. Coming over to you.
Okay. Hopefully you can see me. Yeah, that was actually one of the things. Now, as you seem to know a lot about large language models. So in a nutshell, like ChatGPT, as you may know, was trained with knowledge up to about November 2021. So its knowledge is not current. And also it takes knowledge from everywhere. We're basically using a shared services implementation of CanGPT, which is not shared publicly. But we can load it with the information that we want the ChatGPT model to search. So we can always make sure it's staying current. Actually, I have a little document I could probably share here if I can figure out how to do it. There we go. Can you see that screen?
No.
Retrieval augmented computation. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah.
So to visually show what this means. So here's, of course, the person using it. And so the system is really two parts. There's making sure we have all the documentation, most current studies. And as we say, currently we're using the ChatGPT model that we're hosting within the federal government services because it was available to us and we were licensed, etc. And we had help. So as you can see, we could change this. I'm sure some of you may have seen ChatGPT 4.0 was just announced on Monday. Pretty amazing and scary how it combines voice, text, vision. Also, these features, this is the retrieval augmented generation system that we're using, is RAG for short.
Don, I'm really sorry, but we're running out of time. So if there's any final kind of remarks for this question, they'd have to come now.
Okay, final remarks is the two parts. We've got the knowledge and we've got the large language model. There's nothing stopping us from moving on to ChatGPT 4.0 based model or a Notebook LM model. Copilot is coming out with a similar technology. So we could take the knowledge and transport it to another platform. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Well, that's it, I think, in terms of time for this one. Thank you to all of you in the team. Well done on your presentation. Well done for taking all the questions. I am now going to invite you to leave the call. Good luck to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, thanks, judges. Thanks for the great questions again. And you now have the same thing to do your feedback forms, but also I think after that, you've got a comfort break until 3:50. So we will bring the kind of next team in at about 3:45, ready to go at 3:50. Also, just to say to the judges, as there are 6 of you, or there may be 6 of you, we might not have time to go to all of you for a question in the 15 minutes. So I will mix it up a little bit, okay, and make sure not everybody's last so they don't get a chance.
And when Siobhan said 3:50, she of course meant 10:50.
Sorry, yes, 10:50.
We were happier coming back at 3:15, Brett, just so that it's clear.